Matt, great privilege to have you on the show. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for being here. First of all, your reaction to this amazing event, this 4-day event.
It's the start of the season, isn't it? It's when the whole motorsport fraternity kicks off. You come to see what was successful last year and what's coming this year with the drivers, the cars, the teams, and the kit. It's just it's motorsport paradise here.
And how do you feel as part of the BTCC, a key part of the BTCC, in the context of motorsport in general? How big is the BTCC now?
As a driver and a team, you can't match it. You know, when you get, you try and look, because we're all looking for funding. It's that magic word, isn't it, to go racing. And what Alan Gow and what the British Touring Cars has created, it's very difficult to match internationally or and nationally. You know, it's the platform, the exposure you get as a driver, as a sponsor, as a team. It's just.
Well, let's be honest here. We got Formula One, we got Le Mans, we got Indy, we got a couple of other championships. So the BTCC is right up there on the world stage as one of the big and most successful championships in motorsport.
Well, I suppose if you go by the amount of cars on the grid, 32 cars on the grid, all licenses
and the manufacturers involved.
Yeah, it's and the racing. I'm involved with the World Touring Cars on the commentary side when I sort of moonlight over there. And I say to those guys, because they go, oh yeah, the World Championship, it's more prestigious and everything. And the racing in Britain, in the BTCC, it's brutal. You know, it's tough. You know, it's hard going. So be under no illusion. The same as going down to Australia for V8 supercars.
And what I love about the BTCC are the spectators you get over the weekend at the racetrack, which is a rarity, sadly, in motorsport today. Lots of good big television championships, but the BTCC continues to gather the crowds for the
yeah,
event.
when I was down in Australia, you used to get the Holden and the Ford rivalries, and people get very tribal and very passionate, and they don't mind sharing their feelings about it. Here, it's more for the driver. So you get the Jason fans, and you get maybe the Matt Flash Honda fans, which so you get some who are very passionate about you, and some.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Potential new weaponry this year?
Yeah. It's not been officially released, but it's probably one of the best, worst kept secrets. And
well, it's a pretty impressive looking road car. Let's start with that, and then you've got to assume that it's going to be a quick race car. It looks good.
I've got one of the new Civic Type R road cars, the FK8s, and it is mega. Yeah, I only have you don't have to use half throttle anywhere on the road, more than half throttle.
And tell us about the development sequence for that car then going into the first race.
The first car, the prototype car, is in paint at the moment, so we're behind. But the target is to run it last week of Feb, first week of March in Spain.
Whereabouts?
Down at a little circuit, 45 minutes west of Barcelona, called Park Motor.
Right.
And it's good. A lot of BTC cars and teams go down there, and so you can back-to-back against them. We'll take an old car as well, and we'll take the first prototype car just to do the donkey work on while the other cars are being built.
Exciting times, eh?
Yeah, a lot of the time when we get a new car, I hate it because a lot of the time it's not right and it's horrible and you've got to sort it out. But on the flip side, I love it because it's really rewarding when you can come and you can get a car, and if you can make it a winner, then it's we've got a pretty tough thing to match up to, because the FK2, the outgoing Type R, we've had some pretty good success with it, so we've got a pretty high bar to get to.
And what's your interaction like, if any, with Honda as a company and as a race team, and looking at what they're doing elsewhere in the world? Do you get any feedback either way?
Yeah, you do. I mean, Honda's a great big family. It's a motorsport. They make everything. Engines first, cars and bikes and everything else, equipment later. But it's a big family. We get on with them. You know, I love seeing the bike guys go over to see the TT. You know, John McGuinness was with us earlier. It's, I keep on saying to the guys from the TT, I almost want to talk them out of doing it because I like them too much. I don't want to get hurt.
And what about Formula One? Do you take any interest in how that's going, and how?
You do.
Do you have any thoughts on how it might go with Toro Rosso?
You do, but I always think Formula One is a little bit devoid from reality on what they are using and probably the budgets involved. That's why maybe the guy on the street can relate to what we're doing a little bit more, and will love us or hate us.
We've been talking to some of your colleagues about between races and their other loves of different forms of motorsport. What goes on in your life between races? Once you've got the car kind of up and running and you don't have to worry too much about
I never stop.
technology.
Like Flash, I'm into the historic side, and Andy. So we do the Goodwoods and really look forward to that. I'm into my bikes, motorized and pedal. So I'm into that. I used to be into the martial arts an awful lot. I had to jack that in about 18 months ago through just because not getting any younger and a few injuries. You don't bounce so well.
What's your most fun historic car?
At the revival, there's two cars probably. There's a Listermom Sunbeam Tiger with
Wow.
Chris Bainton, which is an animal.
I bet it is.
It is an animal. And then at the members' meeting, David Clark has a Bastos Chevrolet Camaro, and that is a real weapon. It's real horsepower. So and it's just trying to get the power on the ground, which is a nice problem to have.
And it gives you a glimpse of what it would have been like driving in the Trans Am or the British Touring Car Championship in those days, in that sort of pony car.
Yeah, when I first jumped in them, I hated them because where you point them, they don't go. They go somewhere else. And, from a modern BTC car is like a little Formula 3 car. You point it, it goes, and you hit the brake pedal, it stops. Cars from 20, 30 years ago don't do that. They're a bit more of an art to work out, which I feel there's more driver input needed. Where it's almost a computer race. It's an arms race of a different type with modern cars.
3 Mustangs, 2 Camaros, Falcon Sprint. Nice grid in those days.
And a bunch load of minis if it rains.
Bunch load of minis if it rained.
Yeah.
Sideways, smoke everywhere. A couple of Lotus Cortinas throwing wheels around.
Yeah, the Cortina. That was my first taste in a Mark 1 Cortina. So with Flash. And we had some good times in them.